I am of the pure mind of God. I am the resurrection and the life in my body, my finances, my relationships, and my world. I qualify everything in my world with perfection. I am perfection. I am this perfect day, and the life that lives in me is the light that cannot fail. I accept only God's perfection, His good, in my outer circumstances. I know in my heart that God is all in all. I am absolutely not concerned about what happens, because I know wonderful things are happening now. Find a little missing piece that you're asking for, because you were saying the self-esteem thing. I'm going to just bring that to your awareness so I can show you, and I'm going to literally show you. So just give me a second. I'm going to pull up my browser. It just came to me as you were speaking. So let's see.
Thank you.
I think I want this. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, I can.
All right. So worth. When I looked up the word worth in etymology, it led to honor. Okay. Now, honor is one's personal title to high esteem. Now, that's where, see, when we look at self-worth, let's not look at self-worth, because that's really God looking at itself as self-worth. But let's look at what we can do to receive what God has already known, which is honor. Now,
Yes.
you know about honor because you served and you understand how that works. But I came up with an acronym years ago that it was in my book, Ask Until It's Given, called SALUTE. So you know what it is, salute? When you salute somebody?
It's showing respect and honor. It's a way of just giving others, like I figured almost like namaste, but they did it back in the days. I'm talking much like the knights
Yep.
to raise the visor and then break down, but there's a lot of meaning to it. So
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to break down to you what God showed to me years ago, and I want to give you an actual working model that you can use to strategically influence the level of honor that comes out, that becomes the self-esteem. So I'm going to show you some ways that I've done it myself that I think could help. If you want to try to use them, I think they'll definitely work for you and
yes, sir.
anybody else that wants to use that. So let me just pull up my screen here. And it's a work in progress. Everybody at some level has a breaching point, a failure in their receptivity to self-esteem at some point.
Yes.
So don't take it personally. It's just we're all under that same spell until we know the Father wholeheartedly. So S, it's an acronym. It means to serve. Okay. Now, how can I serve is really a good question when you ask into every venue that you go into. Now, one of the best ways I've learned to serve people, and one of the ways that I've learned to get their ear, so to speak, is I don't talk when I enter a venue. I sit and listen. Okay. Now, listening allows me to serve them in a way that very few people ever do. Now, you think about it. In order to get listened to in this world, you got to pay for it. Like, I want to talk. Well, guess what? They charge you by the hour for that in this world, right?
Yes.
Now, everybody thinks you're a genius until you open your mouth in this world. So if you want to be perceived of high esteem, just listen and say very little. And that will instantly give you the razor's edge. And it's also one of the best ways to serve your brother and sister is to just be present with no opinions, without speaking, and just listening. Because guess what? That's what a dog brings a tear to my eye for. Because what does a dog do? It doesn't talk back to you. It doesn't counsel you. It just listens and it serves you and it loves you. Like if you can learn, we can learn from a dog how to serve.
Yes. Yes.
And you called it a service dog, didn't you?
That's what he is. Absolutely.
Okay, so the lessons from a dog, how to serve. Okay, so we got that part down. Now, the next one is appreciate. All right, now this is huge. So anything that I appreciate is getting one of the two things it needs in this universe. I was educated by Dennis Adams as my first spiritual mentor back in 2009. I flew out to Mount Shasta, and
Wow.
he, took me into his trailer and broke things down to me that I had never heard before. And one of the things he taught me is that within all creation, everything that is under the sun that's alive needs two things. It needs love and appreciation. Now, when I'm serving someone, I can also appreciate. Now, appreciation is really the state of non-judgment. Okay. I'm not looking for the next moment to fix anything. I'm not looking for anything to change. I'm just fully in the moment observing what is before me, which can only be God's creation. And that brings about recognition and appreciation. See?
Yes.
Okay, so the next one is obviously love. So if I understand that, okay, so far we've got the lesson from the dog. It's not what you say. In fact, the less you say, the better. But the more present you are with that appreciative look, just like the dog does.
Yes.
Now you understand agape love. Now you understand non-conditional love. And when I say understand, I mean you really are standing under that yoke. And that will do more for somebody than instructing them in 1,000 modalities. Ironically enough, I mean, think about what a dog does. A dog can relieve PTSD because, not because it teaches you about PTSD or what to do or how to cope, because it serves you, it appreciates you, and it loves you.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes.
We can learn so much. Okay. Now, the next one is understanding. Okay. Now, understanding is, instead of assuming that I know anything, I really want to think about, I want to understand how you see the world. Now, how we understand someone is we actually serve by listening to them, by not talking. We appreciate the moment, knowing that it is God's creation. There could be no other creation. We behold with the eyes of love through non-judgment. And in that space, we will witness an understanding of what God knows to be true about his creation. And that brings about the transformation of that, whatever it is that's going on. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yeah, this
sir.
kind of ties into the healing work that we're doing right now.
Yes. Love to me is creation from God, and the light is information that God puts out that enters us, if I have that right. Or maybe you see that. I don't know.
Does it work? Is it a working model for you?
Um, recently, yes.
Okay. If you find a working model, go with it. Okay. Now remember, I'm not the all-in-all teacher for you. I'm just showing you some keys. So you are the teacher within. So if that came from within you, then it's good. So I'm just showing you the keys that can open these doors. So trustworthy is the next one. This is one of the most least common traits in this world of fashion form. A, do you trust the moment? And B, are you also trustworthy? Now, think about it. Self-worth, trust-worth. I want you to replace self-worth with trust-worth. And you'll get a better grip of where you'll find your answer. Now, instead of increasing my self-worth, I'm going to increase my trust-worth. What does that mean, trust? It means that if God created all, and I'm in the center of God's creation, do I trust this moment to provide everything that is needed as it is needed without fail or exception? The case in point is this transmission coming to you right now. You showed up in this moment. I trusted that you're supposed to be here and I'm supposed to teach you this. So therefore I didn't doubt it. Now that's trustworthy. See that?
Absolutely.
We accept what shows up because it is this moment, and we transform into being God's eyes, if you will. What does God know about this moment? Oh, let's just go with it. See?
Wow.
You see how that works?
Yes.
Now, the last one is equally as important, and it's excellence. Excellence is also one of the words that was in esteem and honor. So excellence is diligent within your capacity, right?
Yes,
In
sir.
terms of, if somebody says, could you mop my floor for me? I put 100 into that, just as I would if they were paying me $1,000 an hour. I'd do the same for free.
Yes.
That's all it is, because I'm serving God. There is no one else there. And see, if you understand that, then your level of esteem has to increase and it has to multiply exponentially. So with this acronym, what I do is I take one of these and I focus on it each day just by looking at the word, like on a cue card. You see?
Yes. Yes.
And so today I'd start with S and I'd say, how can I serve? Well, here's a good example. Here's a guy that says, I would like more self-esteem. And I'd say, well, let me serve you the best of what I have in this capacity. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, that's okay too, because I'm here to love and to be present with you. You see?
Thank you.
Yep. Now tomorrow, appreciation. So tomorrow I'm looking at, what do I appreciate about this moment right now? Even if I'm in an environment that I feel absolutely uncomfortable in, what do I appreciate about this moment right now? Oh, I appreciate the fact that God is still all there is and that I can handle whatever throws at me because it's not my strength, but God's strength that handles it. See?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And we just go through this, and we take one of these each day and we rotate them. And as you do about 5 to 7 rounds of these, by just putting your attention, wherever attention goes, energy flows. By just putting your attention on one of these little keys each day, you cycle through this 5 to 7 times and focus on that for the day. That's your mission,
Yes.
mission accomplished each day. You will transform the way that you approach the world. And when you transform the approach, everything else starts to fall into place. And this is how I know how to scale self-esteem up exponentially. So that's my best take at this.
Thank you. That does explain a lot. That is honorable. This is my major hurdle throughout my life as a child is self-esteem. It's a memory I need to get rid of because I was always told, I know that's the past and it's just a story that I need to change. I need to change it, like I need to break free from it. But I was told from my father as young, go kill myself. He had other children and a lot of things that happened. So I need to let that go, like almost hanging from a cliff. The indigenous natives, Americans supposedly used to give someone 3 times to tell a story. And if they kept on telling that story that didn't serve them for the greatest good for God, they would hang them upside down a cliff until they broke that story. I think you might have said that in a video or someone else, but that really resonated with me to break the story.
Break the story. There's no cause. All right.
Yes.
There's no cause. So I want to help you with that one more time, and then I'm going to open up the panel for everyone here. But this is fun, and if you don't mind, could I share that little skit of salute with everybody? Just that part.
Absolutely.
Because
yes, sir.
I haven't retaught that since 2017. And I think that's a very, very valuable lesson that I'll put out for the ministry. So
Beautiful.
So you served me today by bringing that content out of me. So you see how it's win-win? It's like you showed up with a question, we engaged in a communion of our souls, and we both served the greater good by being in that space. See that? And I'm not
Wow.
talking about the greater good of humanity. I'm talking about revealing God's allness. All
I
right.
love the way you talk. It's becoming part of me. The more I listen, it's kind of your spirit is connecting with mine, and I can share the word with others. It doesn't come out perfectly, but I do my best when I bump into people when they want to interact with me in communication. And I try to make it spiritual, and not all the time I do best. And a lot of times I want to cut people off because of my low self-esteem. And then sometimes I have high self-esteem and I feel like I'm on top of the world. It's a perfect day. Everything's going right. And nothing bad, even if I see, can break that spirit from me. No matter, I've had those days, and those are wonderful. That's like living on heaven on earth to me when I'm at that point, that state of mind, body, and spirit. So,
Well, you'll be
thank you.
there. Yes, you'll be there within 5 to 7 rounds of doing this rotation, because what we do is we don't try to break the problem into its total solution, as in like this big concept of self-esteem. What I do is I look at every component of how to increase what you would call self-worth, which is actually trust-worth. And we build into that these acronym components: serve, appreciate, love, understand, trustworthy, and excellence. And we program those into, like, microdosing it. We microdose your way up to having really high self-esteem. So the last thing, since you did say this story about the hanging of the person that does tell the story too many times, I'm going to play this game with you called Hangman right now. So you get one chance to get this right, and if the man hangs, then it's over. All right. So
Okay.
all right. So you have to pick the letters that fill in this, and we're going to see. You have to fill this in. So you get to pick a letter, and we're going to fill in the gaps. All right.
Okay.
So what's your first letter you want to pick?
It's going to be A. Obvious A.
Okay, there you go. Nope. Now what's the next one?
L.
Okay.
G-O-D.
Now this applies to every
God is all.
this applies to every moment of your existence. There you go. The man didn't get hung. You're still good. All right, you're still there. All right, good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You just lived, inspired my spirit right now more than you know.
Good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It's hard for me to laugh. When I laugh, it's genuine. I can't fake it. It's maybe a military thing since a child. It's hard to fake something.
Yeah.